God bless and Sickle Bears. Hey y'all, what is going on? God bless and Sickle Bears. Alright, so my mic's being kind of weird in general. But okay, first of all, so I started classes on Monday. So I just want to bring this up real quick. Just like, okay, so typically college campuses are more liberal, of course. As everyone knows, they're freaking crazy, honestly, at most of them. Baylor's actually relatively conservative in some areas, especially I'm an accounting major. I'm in the business school, so like most of my business professors are honestly conservative if they express their viewpoints in certain classes. They're more on the conservative end, or maybe really conservative, one way or the other. But okay. So get this, I have a tax class this semester. And I have a journalism class this semester. And one of them's Republican and one of them's more Democrat. Guess which one's which? You would think the tax professor would be a Republican, and you would think the journalism professor would be a Democrat. But no, it's the exact opposite. A journalism professor is a more conservative Republican. The freaking tax professor is a Democrat liberal. What? Okay, like actually, you know, like my tax book says that raising taxes lowers unemployment, and I'm like, I would like to know why that is, and I haven't really gotten an answer yet. And my professor totally has bashed the new tax code, saying, it's so bad that corporations are only having to pay 21% now because they don't pay enough anyway, and I'm just like, the bigger corporations are paying crap because of all the deductions that they get, and that's what a lot of the 2017, December 2017 of tax bill did. It's insane. It got rid of a lot of deductions that a lot of the bigger corporations could use because they have enough money to hire lawyers. So that 21% tax bracket, and she's like, oh, it screws over the smaller companies more, and I'm like, how exactly? When they're the ones having to pay exactly 35% corporate tax, now they're only having to pay 21%. How is that bad for them? They can hire more workers, they can invest more in their company, they can pay higher wages. What's bad about that? I mean, yeah, the owner might keep a little more to himself, but the reality is he won't. The reality is most owners won't keep that much more to themselves. I mean, if it's a really, really small company, maybe. But like an average size company that a lot of workers work for? Hell no. Or a medium-sized company? No. The medium-sized company is going to be like, this is a good thing. You know, it doesn't even apply to all, it doesn't apply to limited liability partners and stuff like that. It only applies to C corporations, I'm pretty sure. So, professor's an idiot. Oh, and then someone asked, well, won't crap, I can't remember what it was. But anyway, I don't remember. Somebody asked something basically I was going to ask, and she had not a good answer. She looked completely stupid in front of the class. So, she's kind of, her opinions get in the way of teaching just what tax is, because there are things I know I have a lot to learn on tax. I hate tax though. I'm definitely going to the audit side for CPA firm wise. But after 5 to 10 years, I'm done with CPA. I'm gonna go to industry. I'm gonna be a financial, accountant, like a controller or a senior controller, or, and eventually like a CFO. Those type of positions in an industry, in a or a manufacturing job more than likely. Because, I mean, but for a manufacturing company, but like, what an idiot. Oh, and then my journalism professor's like, oh, I don't want you to think I'm one side or the other. And then the thing is, he didn't literally say, like, things that, like, were conservative, but just the way he phrased things. So he started talking about how, like, easy it is to understand people. So he mentioned the fact that, like, Donald Trump speaks at a third, the first thing he actually said was that Ted Cruz speaks at a ninth grade level. When the average politician speaks at a 5th grade or 6th grade level, so there was a lot of barrier there. And then he said, well, Donald Trump speaks at a 3rd grade level, that's why a lot of people like him, or just why, like, communication-wise, that it works out well for him. And I'm like, yeah. Well, then he said other stuff about religion and all that stuff that, like, he's more on the conservative end. At least I think he is, based on the way he talks. The thing is like the way Republicans and conservatives talk. It's all about like do it yourself, your own responsibility. When it's Democrats, it's like, oh well, we should just have to bow down to the government. There are different ways people speak, and Democrats and Republicans have two completely like conservative liberal people have two different ways of just thinking about life. So when they communicate, you can typically tell. Not always. It gets complicated when you're talking to a Christian person or like a Christian. I'm in the Christian Business Leaders Organization at Baylor, and it's tough to tell sometimes if someone in there is a liberal or a conservative, or or left-leaning or right-leaning, because their Christian ethics mean more to them than anything, which is me. But the reality is I think they're tied together. So my conservatism shows through the way I talk and the things that I say. Oh, anyway, my tax professor also said, oh, people are moving to Texas from California because there's no income tax here. And I'm like, yeah, that's why. And I literally said to my table, like, there's, different, like, groups of table, like, square, like, clump tables or whatever with, like, 6 of us there. And I literally said to all of them, like, kind of while she was at the other side of the room, like, talking or whatever, working out a problem or whatever it was. I was like, no, everyone's moving to Texas because of their job, and no one gives a fuck how high their taxes are. If they get a better job, or they get a job, much less they get a job, or if they get a higher paying job, they're gonna move to Texas. It's all about the jobs. It has nothing to do with the fact that we don't pay income taxes. Yeah, it does, like, raise your salary in a sense. It is more expensive to live in California, but, like, it really has nothing to do with the fact that there's no income tax in Texas. It's state income tax. I mean, that's really not what it has to do with. So I'm just like... So she admits that people move to a state with no taxes to help the economy, but then at the same time... Democrats and liberals are very self-contradictory. Don't get me wrong, conservatives have self-contradictory views. Like, okay, we don't want to kill babies, but we believe that we should be able to use self-defense and use the death penalty to kill people. We believe in that. So yes, that is hypocrisy, but it's backed up by the fact of let's not kill an innocent baby, but when someone does something horribly wrong, they deserve to die. But anyway, yeah, that was insane. That was insane. But yeah, so I have a Democrat tax professor and a Republican journalism professor. I don't even know. Like, honestly, it's pretty funny because I literally don't even I'm confused, honestly, because I'm just like, what?